All right, get ready for this deep dive, folks. We're diving headfirst into the world of trading simulators. And here's the kicker. Our source material. A draft for another podcast episode about, wait for it, trading simulators.
Whoa, meta, right. It's like peeking behind the curtain of another show.
Exactly, a deep dive within a deep dive.
Yeah.
So let's see what makes these trading simulators such a hot topic. Why are traders of all levels buzzing about them?
Well, before we get lost in the hype, maybe we should define what a trading simulator actually is. Think of it like a flight simulator, but for trading. You're in a safe space, no real money at stake, and you get to, practice those trading skills.
So it's like a video game for the stock market. You get to experiment and see what happens without losing your shirt.
You got it. And a lot of them use like live market data or even historical data, making it super realistic. They mimic the platforms you'd actually use for real trading. So you can kind of test the waters before jumping into the deep end.
I get the appeal, but why are they considered so essential, especially for new traders?
Okay, imagine this. You're learning to drive. Would you prefer to practice on a busy highway at rush hour or in a safe, controlled environment?
Yeah, controlled environment wins every time.
Exactly. And that's one of the big advantages of a simulator. You get to learn without the risk. Make mistakes, try different things, even blow up your whole virtual portfolio without any actual consequences. Takes the pressure off, lets you explore the markets at your own pace.
That makes a lot of sense. But does trading in a simulator where you're not risking real money maybe create a false sense of confidence?
That's a fair point. It's important to remember simulators won't perfectly replicate the emotional ups and downs of real trading, where your actual money is on the line. But what they can do is, well, help you develop the skills and the discipline you'll need to handle those emotions when you are trading for real.
So building confidence is another perk of using a simulator.
Absolutely. You get comfortable with the whole process, placing orders, reading charts, all that. And when you're familiar with the mechanics, it reduces anxiety, right? Helps you make those calmer, more rational decisions. Imagine a trader who's practiced tons in a simulator, suddenly facing like a flash crash in the real market. Scary, yeah, but they'll be much more likely to stay calm, stick to their plan, compared to someone who's never seen that kind of volatility.
So preparation is key, just like practicing a presentation before the big day.
Exactly. Practice makes perfect, or at least more confident, whether you're on a stage or in the markets. And simulators, they're that practice arena where you can hone your skills and get in the right mindset. But it's not just about feeling confident, it's also about putting those trading strategies to the test. Think of a simulator as your personal trading lab. Experiment, see what works, without risking a single penny.
It's like a scientist testing a hypothesis before unleashing it on the world.
Great analysis. You can adjust your entries and exits, your position sizes, even backtest strategies. So you're making decisions based on, actual data, not just a hunch.
So far, we've got risk-free learning, building confidence, and testing strategies. What else makes these simulators so valuable?
Well, one of the most important things for successful trading, discipline. Sticking to your plan, especially when things get crazy, emotions run high.
But how can a simulator where there's no real risk help you develop that discipline?
Think about training for a marathon. You don't just show up on race day and expect to run 26 miles without any training. You got to put in the work, build endurance, and that mental toughness, right? Trading is kind of similar. Mental toughness, emotional control, sticking to the plan when you're feeling doubtful. A simulator, that's where you practice that.
So it's like mental training for the real deal.
You got it. Building good habits and that all-important trading mindset. And it's not just about good habits, it's about spotting and correcting the bad ones, too.
How does the simulator help with that?
This is where the fifth benefit comes in. Analyzing your performance. Most simulators keep track of everything at every trade you make, all the details on your wins, losses, the whole 9 yards, like having a personal coach documenting everything you do.
Instead of going on gut feeling, you can actually see what's working and what's not.
Exactly. You see patterns in your trading, the good and the bad. Do you tend to chase those losses? Exit trades too early? Overtrade. The simulator gives you the data, you become the detective, figuring out your strengths, weaknesses, areas to work on.
It's like holding up a mirror to your trading style,
Right.
seeing things you might not have noticed otherwise.
Precisely. That kind of self-awareness is gold. You can tweak your strategies, refine your approach, become a more disciplined trader. So, we've covered the 5 big benefits. Learning without risk, building confidence, testing strategies, developing discipline, and analyzing performance. Now let's talk about what to actually look for in a good simulator.
Sounds like a perfect place to start in part 2.
Picking a good trading simulator. It's kind of like a picking the right tool for a job. It needs to fit you, your needs, how you trade, your experience level. So what should you be looking for?
That's the million-dollar question. This draft we're going through, it highlights 4 main things. And the first one, well, it seems pretty obvious the simulator needs to have realistic market conditions.
Totally. Imagine a flight simulator that didn't, like, account for wind or turbulence. Wouldn't be very useful. Same with a trading simulator. It's got to reflect how the market actually works, order execution speeds, market depth, even those little glitches that happen sometimes.
So it's got to be as close to the real deal as possible.
Exactly. You want to practice and test your strategies in an environment that, that mirrors real life as much as possible, but realistic market conditions. That's just the starting point. A good simulator should also give you a bunch of tools, features that go beyond the basics.
What kind of tools are we talking about here?
Think like more than just basic charts and orders. Look for things like advanced order types, the kind that let you set up more complex instructions for your trades. Like, instead of a simple market order, you might want to try a stop limit order. It combines a stop order and a limit order, gives you more control over your risk and potential rewards.
Okay, that sounds pretty advanced.
Yeah, it is. But a good simulator should let you play around with these tools, see how they work. No risk involved, right? And speaking of exploring, the third thing you want in a simulator is flexibility.
Flexibility. What does that mean exactly for a trading simulator?
Well, the financial markets, they're huge, right? Stocks, options, futures, Forex, even crypto. A good simulator should let you try out all these different markets, not just stick you in one little corner.
So it's like a buffet of financial instruments. You get to sample everything and see what you like.
Exactly. Maybe you'll find you're a natural at options trading, or you prefer the fast-paced world of Forex. A good simulator lets you experiment, figure out what kind of trader you are without risking any actual money. But it's not all serious business. A little fun can help, especially when you're learning.
You're talking about that gamification stuff, right?
Bingo. Some simulators, they've got leaderboards, achievements, those virtual rewards. Makes the whole thing a bit more engaging, a little more fun, It might seem kind of gimmicky, but it can help keep you motivated and you can track your progress. Plus, a little competition never hurt anyone.
So we've got the features down. Let's get practical. How can you actually get the most out of a simulator? What are some key takeaways?
This draft we're looking at, it really stresses 4 main points. Number 1, take it seriously.
Even though it's not real money.
Yep. It's easy to mess around and not worry about it since it's just a simulation. But if you really want to learn and get better, you got to treat it like the real deal. Stick to your plan, manage your risk, think before you jump into a trade.
Building good habits from the start.
Exactly. And speaking of good habits, takeaway number 2. Review every single trade you make. Don't just trade and forget about it. Really look at the data. Why did you enter that trade? Why did you exit? Were you following your plan? Did emotions take over? Become your own coach, Use the data to see what you're doing well, what you need to work on. This is where all that detailed info from the simulator really comes in handy.
It's like having that mirror reflecting back at you, helping you see your blind spots. And once you've spotted those areas for improvement, the next step is setting some goals, right?
Right on. Takeaway number 3 is to have a clear objective when you're using a simulator. What are you trying to achieve? Master a specific strategy. Get better at managing risk. Figure out a new platform. Having specific goals helps you stay focused, see how you're progressing, makes your practice much more effective.
It's not just playing around, it's having a purpose.
Exactly. And once you're feeling confident in the simulator, it might be time to think about the real world. But no need to rush. Takeaway number 4, transition gradually.
What does that look like in practice?
Well, try this. Alongside your simulator trading, start paper trading. Basically, keep a journal, act like you're trading with real money, track everything, why you're making each decision. It's a good way to bridge the gap between the simulated world and the real thing. And when you're comfortable with that, you can dip your toes into live trading. Start small and amount you're okay with losing just to get the feel of it.
So ease into it.
Exactly. No need to jump in head first. Even pros practice before the big game, right? Trading's the same. Simulators and paper trading, they're your training grounds. And speaking of resources, the draft we're using mentions a specific simulator. Simulator.com. Ever heard of it?
I have. It's free, online, and it's supposed to be pretty realistic.
Yep. It's a great place to start, especially if you're new to simulators and want to see what it's all about. No need to commit to a paid platform right away. It's got a lot of features, realistic data, there's advanced order types, even a social aspect where you can connect with other traders.
So if someone's listening, thinking about trying a simulator, simulator.com would be a good first step.
For sure, it's risk-free, a great way to explore. All this talk about simulators and practice, it reminds me of something a mentor told me once. He said, treat trading like a profession, not a hobby.
That's a good one.
Right.
What do you think you meant?
I think he was saying, take it seriously. Put in the same effort, the dedication, the learning that you would with any other job. It's not about getting rich quick. It's about building a solid foundation. Knowledge, skills, experience, that's what lets you trade with confidence consistently over time. And simulators, they're a great tool to help you build that foundation.
It's about like mastering a craft,
Yeah,
not just messing around.
exactly. And any craft, it takes time, effort, practice. Simulators give you that safe space to practice, to experiment, build your confidence. But even with all the practice in the world, there's one crucial thing we haven't really touched on yet: the mental side of trading.
That's true. Trading isn't just numbers and charts. It's a mental game too, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Some say it's 80% psychology, 20% strategy. I might disagree on the exact numbers, but the mental game is huge. You can have the best strategy, but if your emotions get the best of you, if you panic and sell at the worst time or get greedy and hold on too long, you can still lose.
It's like knowing the game plan, but then choking under pressure.
Yeah, and going from simulator to real trading, that can really make those emotions stronger. In a simulator, it's easy to stay calm. No real money, right? But when it's your own hard-earned cash, the fear of losing is real. That can trigger all sorts of emotions.
So how do you prepare for that? Any exercises or strategies to manage those emotions and make, smarter decisions?
Well, first you got to be aware. What are your triggers? What makes you anxious, greedy, scared? Once you know, you can start figuring out how to deal with them.
Like knowing your weaknesses so you can work on them.
Exactly. And there are lots of strategies. Some people find meditation helps them stay grounded. Others, they create strict rules to follow so emotions don't get in the way. Some find having a trading buddy or mentor helps, someone to talk to.
Like having a coach in your corner.
Yep. And remember, trading, it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's about making good decisions over time, not just chasing those quick wins or reacting to every little market move.
That reminds me of what we said about discipline. It's not just about the plan, it's about managing your emotions too, right?
Exactly. Discipline is multi-layered. It's about having the mental strength to stick to your plan, even when it's tough, and the control to not make those impulsive moves that can mess up your long-term goals.
So self-awareness, strategies for emotions, discipline for mental balance. Any other tips for the psychological side of trading?
One thing that often trips people up, especially newer traders, FOMO, fear of missing out. You see a stock climbing and you just got to jump in before you miss the profits.
Oh, yeah, I get that. Like seeing everyone at a party having fun, and you feel like you need to be there too, even if you're not really feeling it.
Right, but just like you don't have to go to every party, you don't have to buy every stock that's going up. In fact, chasing those hot stocks, often a recipe for disaster.
So how do you avoid the FOMO trap?
It goes back to that plan. Before you even trade, you got to know your entry point, your exit, your risk strategy. And once you're in the trade, don't chase the price. Don't add more just because it's going up. Stick to the plan. Let it play out.
It's about having the willpower to say no, even when it's tempting.
You got it. You don't got to catch every single move. There'll always be more opportunities. And it's better to miss a few winners than chase a bunch of losers and, well, blow up your account.
Great advice.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about the technical stuff with simulators, the mental game, and how to stay level-headed. Any final thoughts for our listeners?
Well, the big thing to remember is trading's a journey. It's about constantly learning, adjusting, getting better, both with the technical stuff and the mental game. Simulators. They're a fantastic tool for that journey. You can practice, try things out, build your confidence, all in a safe space. But remember, success in trading, just like in life, it takes more than just skills. It takes discipline, resilience, managing your emotions.
Very well said. So, as you continue on your trading journey, remember, embrace the process, learn from your mistakes, and never stop learning. Who knows, maybe one day you'll be sharing your wisdom on a podcast just like this.
Maybe. You never know.
Until then, happy trading, everyone. All right, so we've covered a lot of grounds, the ins and outs of trading simulators, what to look for, how to use them, but we kind of touched on this earlier. There's another side to trading. It's not just about the numbers.
Yeah, the psychology of it all. It's a big deal.
Right. It's like you can have a killer trading strategy, but if you let your emotions run wild, well, you can still end up losing, even if the strategy itself is solid.
Oh, absolutely. And going from that simulated environment to the real market, that can really crank up the emotions. In a simulator, it's easy to stay cool, collected. It's not real money, right?
Hmm.
But when you're trading with your own cash, the fear of losing, it's real, man. And that can like trigger all sorts of reactions.
So how do you deal with that? Are there any like mental tricks or strategies to keep those emotions in check so you can, make better decisions?
The first thing is you got to know yourself. What pushes your buttons? What market moves? What situations make you feel, anxious, greedy, scared? Once you know your triggers, you can start figuring out how to handle them.
It's like knowing your weaknesses so you can like come up with a game plan to overcome them.
Exactly. And there's no one-size-fits-all solution. Some traders, they swear by meditation or mindfulness. Others, they create a super strict set of rules so they don't even have to think. Just follow the rules, no emotions involved. Some find it helpful to have a trading buddy, some to talk to, bounce ideas off of.
It's like having a coach, right?
Yeah,
Someone to keep you focused, especially when things get intense.
exactly. And it's important to remember this trading thing. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's about consistency over time, not chasing those quick wins or freaking out over every little market wiggle.
That makes me think about what we said before about discipline. It's not just sticking to your plan. It's about controlling your emotions too, right?
Yeah.
So they don't end up sabotaging you.
Absolutely. Discipline, it's not just one thing. It's having the mental strength to stick to your guns even when it's tough. And it's having the self-control to avoid those impulsive moves that can really mess things up in the long run.
Okay, so we've got self-awareness, strategies for those emotions, and discipline for that mental balance. Any other tips for the mental game?
Oh, yeah. One thing that catches a lot of new traders, especially, FOMO, fear of missing out. You see a stock taking off, and you have this urge to jump in before you miss the rocket.
I've been there. It's like, seeing everyone else at a party having a blast, and you feel like you need to join even if you don't really want to go.
Exactly. But it's just like you don't have to go to every party. You don't have to buy every stock that's going up. In fact, chasing those hot stocks is usually how people get burned.
So how do you fight that urge, that FOMO?
It comes back to the plan. Before you even think about trading, you should know your entry point, your exit point, how much risk you're willing to take. And once you're in a trade, don't chase the price. Don't add more just because it's going up. Stick to the plan. Let it play out.
So it's about saying no, even when it's really tempting.
Exactly. You don't have to catch every single wave. There will always be more opportunities. And trust me, it's better to miss a few winners than to chase a bunch of losers and, well, blow up your whole account.
Words of wisdom right there.
Hmm.
All right, to wrap things up, we've explored the technical side of trading simulators, the importance of the mental game, and some strategies for staying calm and making smart decisions. Any last thoughts you want to leave our listeners with?
Well, here's the takeaway. Trading. It's a journey, not a destination. It's about constantly learning, adapting, getting better. Simulators, they're a great tool for that. You can practice, try new things, build your confidence, all in a safe space. But remember, to really succeed in trading, it takes more than just knowing the technical stuff. It takes discipline, being able to bounce back from setbacks, and keeping those emotions in check. Just like in life, really.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
So, as you keep learning and exploring the world of trading, remember, enjoy the ride, learn from your mistakes, and never stop growing. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the one sharing your trading wisdom on a show like this someday.
Yeah, maybe. You never know.
Until then, happy trading, everyone.